Okay, I have the air conditioner installed, so we'll talk about that just a little bit. This panel, as I mentioned in the previous video, I had riveted on, which was a mistake because you have to take it back off to install the air conditioning, heat and air conditioning, I should say. So now, as you can see, it has rivet nuts on it. I anticipated it might be hard to get that panel off without bending it up due to the silicone, but it wasn't bad at all. I just took one of those disposable plastic razor or box cutters and slipped the blade way out, put it in here and kind of sawed all the way around. Once of course I drilled out the rivets and I was able to get that right out. So it's the first panel I've had to remove. It went a lot easier than I thought, and so I'm happy with that. Now the control valve, which is for the heater, which just has a little motor and a valve and regulates the amount of hot water that goes to your heater core. That the instructions show to put here, and I've seen a lot of people do that, but I elected to put it inside the foot box. It's right up here, and I think that's much cleaner. It leaves this open. It also eliminates some connections, and it fit in there just fine. I did insulate it just so that the half of the valve that has the hot water line would not be pumping heat into the foot box in the summer months. So I did insulate it. And by the way, there's insulation that comes with the kit that you put over the AC lines here. In my particular kit, there was not enough of it, and it wasn't the type that was shown in the kit. It was really just that type you would put around plumbing in your house, kind of pool noodle type stuff. And so I did buy some adhesive pipe insulation and to wrap all that stuff up. So it's nice and wrapped up. It's all closed up now. And I haven't bolted my computer down just yet. That'll go right there. So I need to finish that up. But if you look under here, you can see right there are the two heater hoses. I run them through grommets instead of that bulkhead piece. If you do the little bulkhead fitting, you end up with a fitting, two fittings on the outside and two on the inside. So clamps on the outside, clamps on the inside. That's just, to me, 4 more places to have a leak. You know, generally, when you do have a leak in any kind of tubing in a car, it's rarely the tube or hose, it's generally at the joints. And so anytime you can eliminate joints, I think is a win. Some might say, well, what about serviceability issues? But yeah, I don't know. If you're gonna remove a hose, you can remove it from the engine side. So I don't know why you would ever need to remove it there unless you're replacing the heater core. And if you're doing that, then you're opening it all up anyway. So I don't know that I buy the serviceability aspect to that, but hey, to each his own. Now the same on the AC hoses. This one, this low side valve was on this elbow. But I had considered doing the same thing and just, as others had done, it wouldn't be unique, but others have just ran the hose directly into the evaporator rather than having, again, the bulkhead fitting or firewall fitting. I didn't do it because, for the very simple reason that I needed this elbow valve. I could have come up with another solution and put the low side valve somewhere else, but in the end, I decided to go ahead and use the fitting there. But for this lower hose here, I actually did run it directly into the evaporator, and let's see if I can get the lighting right here. And I'll put some silicone around. I thought, or I might try to put a grommet in there. I don't know, I got an assortment of sizes of grommet. Anyway, here's the dryer, and it will fit. There's a panel that goes here, the inner fender or firewall panel, whatever it's called. I did test fit that, so it will fit there. So that turned out to be a pretty good place for it. Others have put it kind of right here, but that's where I have my overflow tank. There are some, in my opinion, kind of better looking or ergonomically better overflow tanks, but this is one that came with the kit, so that's what I used. I know there's some more square looking ones that mount kind of over in here, and that may be a better solution, but probably nothing wrong with this solution either. Okay, so looking down here, you see the compressor is wired up, and the hoses from the compressor, we go here, okay, along the side to here, got the high pressure valve. And there is the condenser installed over the front of the radiator and here. Now, the instructions showed this coming out and going on the outside of this tube, but there was no way that was going to fit. there's no way to move this condenser far enough, at least in my setup, to the left to get that around. And so I put it down through there. So I did have to cut away, and I rounded this edge, but this came down like this. So I cut that off, rounded out that edge, and that allowed me to run that line right through there with the radiator hose. So I did charge it. I'm getting about 45 degrees, which is outstanding. It's perfect. Everything's working great. So then I buttoned up the panels. As you can see here, I put the vents here. The instructions say to put them in this panel that goes right here, which is this one. As others have done, I thought this is a better place for it, so I put them there. Now the hoses, I haven't got this all buttoned up real well yet because I still need to take this dash out and cover it. So I'll be doing that, and I haven't, as part of taking out and cover it, I'll also mount the controls. So here's the air conditioner controls. The clamp I just have here to keep it from bouncing around, but there's what the back of that looks like. They're plug-in for the first two, but for that temperature control right there, those you'll have to solder on. And I marked out where I'm gonna put it. They provide a bracket and instruct you to connect that bracket under here, put the controls here. But I'll put them in the dash as a lot of other people have done. So what I'm working on now, once I finish buttoning all that up, and probably before I cover that dash, take the dash out, is I've been trying to deal with the seats, and I'm not happy with the seat brackets I have, or the seat sliders to make them adjustable. I've got this one bolted on here, but I can't get it just where I want it, and I don't like how this bar is really basically laying on the metal. I mean, there's just not much room with these particular seats for that bar. And by the time I get carpet and sound deadening in there, I think it's gonna be hard to manipulate. So here's the one for the passenger side. It's not installed yet, so that's kind of what it looks like. And I also had to narrow these by bending it. I think I may swap that out with a different solution, one that has the lever and a cable that goes across, and like a single-sided lever instead of this kind of bail apparatus, because I'm just not liking the way that's working out. Don't know how much of that I'll get done before we take off for summer vacation, but I will probably get the seats in before I pull the dash out and finish it. So that's where I'm at. Any suggestions on what seat sliders I might use, put it in the comment. I'd love to hear some ideas. I think I'll also look out on the forum maybe, or maybe put a post and see what other people have used. Because like I said, I'm just not happy with these, but I do need to keep something relatively narrow because boy, it's already close on the head clearance up there. And I'm not a tall guy, fortunately, but you really don't want a lot under your seat or your head's gonna be against the ceiling, especially if I ever went out to the track and needed to wear a helmet. So that's it for today.